how AI can affect advertising research?
It is affecting. It is going to affect. So there's last year in Cannes, there was a lot of hype about it.
Right.
Everybody was talking. I think it was more hype than real concrete examples of what can really work. To be honest, I was invited to some discussions with Google and a panel of people, but it was, I think we weren't far enough. And then obviously what was launched in the last 6 to 8 months has changed things dramatically. So yeah, I mean, the way we've looked at it, we're looking at, first of all, at predictive analytics, so using AI and machine learning to help us see if we can predict the scores of Creative Spark, our flagship pre-testing tool. We've been working on that for about 18 months. Why so long? Because we weren't happy with the accuracy of the model and we had to work on that, and we're now more comfortable with what we have seen. So we will launch that in June.
Nice.
But what we have also done is we wanted to go further. So we have looked at how Gen AI can help us with synthetic responses in open-ended, so without people getting responses to open-ended, to looking at how text language learning models can help us in the processing of data, but also understanding of it. And the third step we looked at is if we can take visuals, which is new, okay, visuals from a storyboard plus a prompt, drop it into the AI, can it describe the ad to us and the message takeout, and we've done some trials on that. So that's very helpful from a diagnostic perspective, but not really adding to the accuracy. And then thirdly, we have created our own computer vision variables. It's our own IP, our own Ipsos IP, where we've looked at hundreds of variables and taken that down to about 10 to 12 that explain more of the lift on our KPIs. So what that will mean is that we can run the AI, but we can add these variables in, stuff like brand consistency and several other things, and that will help a client understand immediately, diagnostically, what's working well, what's not working well. So yeah, we're very excited about it. I think this is so you asked how's it going to change things. I think what it won't replace, so let's be clear, is if a client is doing a high level equity copy with a lot of money and it's more emotional, I don't see AI yet at being able to measure enough about empathy, emotion, humor.
Okay.
That's where it struggles a bit, and very divergent creatives, so the misfits of the world, it works better with formulas and patterns. Not good for DEI as well, by the way. But that's work in progress. So I think there is, what we are saying at Creative Excellence, I think at Ipsos as well, is we are looking at a combination of humans and machines in the loop.
Perfect.
So that's how we're going to do it. But we see a wonderful opportunity for our clients. And I think in Brazil, that will be a great opportunity to look at the lower tier volume-based investments instead of, where the price point is a lot lower, the cost of entry is a lot lower. So can we learn something very quickly in a quick and efficient way and deliver that in a meta-analysis kind of
So
way?
it should be a way to popularize ad research overall, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially in the digital space, but also for video and TV as well. Yeah.
I know for a fact that throughout the world we see different investments in different stages of the creative process.
Yeah.
For instance, in Brazil, the market is more focused on post-test than in other stages. What do you see different in other areas, and why?
Yeah, I think for us the early stages of the creative development process. So when a client's thinking of big ideas, creative roots, storyboards, mood boards, this kind of thing, this is, for us globally, the fastest growing piece of business that we have. It's growing so fast because of a marketer has so many channels and so much media to control and look after, so they need to make sure that the foundation of their campaign is really strong. So we're finding, with some of our bigger clients, newer clients that we're working with globally, that part is very important. So the tool that we use is a quant-qual combination. It's called Instant Lab. It's a quant-qual combination. It works in a day. It's very efficient. So you have the quant, the results from the hard numbers, but then you can tap into the why through the qual and ladder that, and it's the client involved in the project. So the depth of that and the fact that it's earlier allows them to get learning on the fly. The debrief happens on the same day. Of course, we create a PowerPoint, but the debrief is on the same day. So the agency can even inject ideas into the lab
And
and test them right on the minute if they think they want to take the findings, work on the creative, and then drop them into another lab. It's like, can be a creative sprint if you want.
It's fair to assume that this is going to be some sort of a trend. I mean, we should see more big ideas.
I think so.
All over.
I think so. Even for Brazil, I mean, I think for sure, because it's a trend across every category, almost every category. We don't see one category dominating versus the other, even in pharmaceuticals to retail to luxury to banking.
It makes sense.
All of it, yeah. So I think, well, yeah, it's just about, how do we fit into the client's creative development process? How do they work? And we have a number of tools now, a suite of tools that are more efficient, can go faster, like Creative Spark Early, or are deeper, more strategic, like the lab's products. And so, yeah, clients see the value there, and it's been really, really good for us. And I think it's an opportunity
Great.
as well.
And as a final question, considering your experience, what do you see as trends or the evolution of the communication activities?
Yeah. So the age-old trend is still there, right? The trend to get to great creative, have high performance creative is still there. It's not going to go away. It's great for us in this industry, but it's also why we've done, Misfits and other things like that. So that's number one. It will not change across platform, experience, doesn't matter what media, what company and agency. Everybody wants to deliver good quality creative and see their brand succeed. So that's number one. Then there are various different trends. I would say there has been obviously the sustainability trend, which won't go away either because of the pressures of, ESG. So sustainability in advertising is a big thing for a lot of companies, but a lot of them are getting it horribly wrong. So we see ourselves playing an important role in showing how they can get it right. So we've written several papers and presented several learnings on sustainability in advertising that can be leveraged by clients. The other one is on diversity and inclusion, equality, these topics, depending on the market. So Brazil might be different to the US just a little. And then, Europe is different. But the overall trend is, we want to be more inclusive. We want to be more diverse. So this is something that I think will continue to change with variations of ups and downs. So we have been, in the very early stages, been doing measurement of gender equality. It's standard in our pre-testing tool. And now we have a new measure since a while back on diversity, equality, inclusion that's broader, that can cover minority groups, people with disabilities, people of color, whatever. But it's a broader question. So it's not targeted to one group. Yeah. So the data comes out. So this topic will continue to be interesting for clients. Of course, the whole social media story, because the platforms themselves evolve. Each platform has its own book of learning. Google has the ABCDs of how you can get it right in YouTube. Meta has their own way of the brilliant basics and telling how clients should advertise in their platforms. TikTok has created tons of content, that from Brazil, on showing how it needs to be native, needs to be resonating in stories that are authentic. So that is a challenge on its own right, because what it means for the advertiser is they need to continually evolve and change the formats depending on where they're investing. At least that's the takeaway, because Skippable is not the same maybe as a TikTok asset. So that trend means that the need for information on not only efficiency metrics, but also on effectiveness. How well am I really doing in TikTok versus Instagram versus YouTube? These are questions that are on the minds of the marketers, but by the way, on the minds of the platforms too. Mm-hmm. Google too wants to know why they launched their Shorts platform. They want to know why people are going to TikTok and engaging more than them on. And there are different people have different mind states when they go. So that's a massive topic on its own, and we actually are, I can't say too much about it, but we are talking to some of the bigger platforms on exactly this topic, on how we can help them on bigger meta-analysis on these kinds of ideas. So I think that's a very important playground. The other trend I would say is like in the whole sort of entertainment, the way that entertainment and TV is being consumed, right? So you guys do Big Brother, you have a massive program, it's a fantastic syndicated study that you do, and I was listening to your team speak about how you measure the different activations that companies have with Big Brother, and it can be the TV activation, it can be the social media at the same time, but then the product placement in the show, the product sitting on the table, the interaction of the product. If we think of like many of the Netflix shows or Amazon Prime shows, of how many brands do that, so how much of the measurement is actually picking that up? That's an interesting question. I think there's a lot of missed opportunity in that space as well. We work a lot with entertainment clients for different reasons, but I think those are probably the biggest trends that we're seeing at the moment. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Shaun.
Thank you, Marcus. Thanks for having me, man.